Good morning, my name is Garrett Young, and this is an informative speech about the advantages and disadvantages of using a hydroponic garden to grow food in your home. Imagine having 2 square feet of unused space somewhere in your house, whether it's in the kitchen, it's in the living room, maybe it's an empty closet. And you're thinking to yourself, how can I be more productive with that space? Well, imagine yourself buying some bright lights, a container to hold some nutrient-rich water, and you could have a hydroponic garden in your living room as well. But what is hydroponics? Well, first let's talk about the more traditional method of cultivating food, soil-based agriculture, growing food outdoors. You have to concern yourself with things like the climate. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Are you getting enough rain? Maybe it's too windy. You have to worry about things like wildlife, deer, rabbit, foxes, squirrels. You have to worry about things like pesticides, insects, and funguses, all these things attacking your plants. When I grow food indoors, I don't have to worry about any of these things. The only thing that really matters is the light and the nutrient-rich water. In 1860, a German biologist by the name of Julius Sachs published a book called Nutrient Solutions. And here he captures the result of his research of plants only care about the nutrients. The soil medium is irrelevant. It just holds nutrients. So we can remove the soil, we can put it in water, and we can put that water container anywhere we want. Again, it's right here in my living room. I can build it up. Through technology, we have some pretty creative systems for really capturing that space. But some of the advantages is the effectiveness and efficiency of a hydroponic system, right? Higher yields, because I control that perfect environment, that perfect climate. There's nothing to disrupt my plant from doing what it's supposed to do, produce. Things like pepper plants. The whole point of a pepper plant is to produce peppers, to produce seeds, to reproduce itself. So if I can take all those external factors away and really give it exactly what it wants, it's going to go crazy producing food. And then the quality of the food, the better flavors of the food, right? I mean, I could take something off this plant right now, put it in my mouth, eat it. It's not dirty. It's grown right here in my house. I don't have to worry about things crawling all over it, bug poop and things like that. And it tastes better. There's no supply chain. Supply chain is me picking it, putting it in my mouth, or taking it to the kitchen. It's not sitting in a truck somewhere, being delivered to a store, eventually sitting on the shelf, and then a week and a half later, it loses some of that flavor just sitting there on the shelf. And then the speed. You can grow a lot more in a lot smaller space, right? So traditional soil-based agriculture, a space about this, I can probably grow maybe 1 or 2 plants. Here I'm growing 30. I can build up. I don't need soil, just water. And then the efficiency. When we talk about efficiency, we talk about water use mainly. When I'm planting things outside, I have to water it pretty frequently unless I get lucky enough to get rain. But that rain water will evaporate or get soaked up in the ground, and eventually you have to do it again. Keep it regularly watered for your plant. Here, 5 gallons of water lasts a month, if not longer, because it's all contained. There's not much chances for evaporation. I can control these things. And then speed. Again, because I control the environment, I can give the plant exactly what it needs for nutrients, allowing it to produce faster. It's not starving for any one nutrient. It's not like trying to build its roots or try to grow or try to produce a fruit. It has everything it needs right there, right in front of it. But hydroponics does have disadvantages, and some of those disadvantages include initial financial costs, right? A system like this could cost several $100s. That's a lot of money, right? There are more simple methods, more traditional passive hydroponics, where a mason jar, some nutrient-rich water, and a plant that sits in a window. That's it. Forget about it. Just sit in the window, let it do its thing. There's no fancy technology behind this. It's just a cup, right? But most of those other ones, these more complex systems, can cost some money. The lights cost some money. The nutrient water, all those initial costs. And then there's monthly costs. You talk about water, electricity, nutrients. These are all recurring costs with a system like this. Fortunately, electricity isn't very expensive. A system like this that's growing 30 plants can cost about $5 a month in electricity. That's not bad. And then some of the other disadvantages is time consuming. The time consuming part's not that big of a deal. It's almost an advantage. It can be an advantage, right? But there is the regular maintenance and cleaning of your system, whereas outside you can just forget it if you want to, and at the end of the day it's just dirt, right? But here I have to manage the root systems. If they get too long, I have to cut them back. I have to fight some sort of algae, which isn't that bad. And then one of the other things you have to do, which is probably a good problem to have, is you have to harvest all that, right? Whereas if you were to go outside, it's the same problem. You have to go actually pluck all this stuff, but it could take a while. 30 plants right there. It could take some time to pluck it, harvest it, and then do something with it, right? So whether you properly store it for short-term use or long-term use, those are all things you have to consider when planting this food. So in conclusion, these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of owning a hydroponic system indoors. Next time you're walking through the store and you're looking at some of those peppers on the table or some leafy greens, sit there and consider you can grow this in your house right here, right behind you. Tastes way better. It might be a little bit cheaper too. Thank you.